In addition to confirming the WRC 27 technical regulations, the FIA on Wednesday confirmed the WRC 2025 points system changes. You can check out my video on the WRC 27 regulations in the description section down below, and you can also check out in the description down below my previous videos about the WRC point systems, because I've not done one but two talk about the impact of the point system on the WRC over time. And what we're going to do in this video is briefly talk about the 2025 system, and I'll provide a link for this. You can go through the data and have a look for yourself. I'm going to do an update to my almost magnum opus hour-long video that I did earlier this year at some point, but in the meantime, let's talk about the 2025 system. I will start off with arguably the biggest change. Saturday points are gone. Now, it was entertaining to have, and it was great to experiment with. In my opinion, they should have done the Saturday points as a bonus, the same way they did Super Sunday points, or had both of them award points separately and then had a final result awarding bonus points too. But it wasn't to be. The 2025 system will still keep Super Sunday, however it will go to the 5 fastest drivers. They'll also retain the power stage, which means that the maximum points you can get from a weekend will be 35 instead of 30. I haven't seen any confirmation if they're going to do any changes for WRC 2, WRC 3, or the Junior WRC for next season as of yet. But watch this space, because they are more likely to make those changes than they were to make changes to the top class structure, because WRC 2, if you're relatively recent to WRC or relatively recent following the junior ladders and the support series of the WRC, it changed a lot more often. So for example, the power stage was 3-2-1 until this year when they scrapped it. And previously they've had it so that the manufacturer backed entries WRC 2 Pro, and sometimes it's been listed as 2 and 3, and then WRC 4 is something different. It's a whole thing. However, what we can do now is have a look at how it would impact on WRC history if the 2025 point system was applied throughout the WRC. And it is quite fascinating because, well, they said they used spreadsheets to generate it. I don't know if they used mine. If they did, I'd like some credit, please, FIA. But the implications are very few on WRC history. There are, I believe, 3 world titles that change hands. One of them, perhaps unsurprisingly, is Sebastian Loeb's 2006 championship. Now, the reason why this changes hands so often is because points were only awarded for the top 8 rather than the top 10. The deciding factor is Marcus Grönholm's role in Australia in 2006. Loeb missed the last few rounds of the season due to a broken arm, and he won the title in Australia over video link because Grönholm went off, and I think he'd already recovered to 9th, so he wouldn't have gotten points. Whereas if you award it all the way down to the top 10, Grönholm wins the title. It's one of those interesting ones that really we should look at, because Loeb won 9 in a row, but they weren't all straightforward, dominant, easy displays. I'd say 05 probably. I'd say 2010 probably. But there are lots of seasons where he's run very close. The only other driver who loses championships, and this guy unfortunately loses 2, is Tommi Mäkinen. And Tommy loses these 2 championships in different ways, but to the same team, Toyota, 98 and 99. In 98, he loses it to Carlos Sainz, who in the real world lost the championship, in effect, in the final stage, the final mile of the final stage of the final rally, where the car broke down at Margan Park. And then in 1999, Didier Auriol would have won the title, which is something that only happened when I tried every other point system in the 2024 system. And let's talk about why that is, because it might give us an understanding of why the FIA has done what it's done here. Because what they are rewarding is they are rewarding consistent speed. Loeb is unfortunate. He loses the title because he misses a bunch of rallies because he's injured. But with Mäkinen, he would lose titles because of a checkers or wreckers approach that the point systems in 98 and 99 rewarded, because that was the one where it was the top 6 got points. Tommy and Colin very rarely at this time finished on the podium together. One of them would usually be on the podium, but the other one would be in a woods somewhere, or in a field, or I don't know. They would have had an accident, or the car would have broken down. And that's where they suffer, because drivers like Sainz and L'Oreal were a bit more of, this is an F1 analogy, the Prost to the Mäkinen and McRae Senna. They were more like a professor. They thought more about the title and chose where they were picking their fights. And these are drivers that are often seen as underrated for having 1 and 2 championships. So this would reward them. But importantly, it would also reward a lot of other champions in quite nice fashions. Thierry Neuville would win the 2024 title still, and he would win it by 24 points rather than the 32 he won it by this season. Oid Tanak would be 9 points behind Elfyn Evans instead of 10. And Elfyn Evans would be the, well, I think each of the top 4 drivers would gain points, have a net gain of points. Neuville up from 242 to 250, Evans up from 210 to 226, Tanak up from 200 to 217, Ogier up from 193 to 197. It's pretty cool, isn't it? But anyways, as always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.